Well, I hope you can hear me, guys. Are you okay? If you can hear me, just wave your hand. Let me check if you can hear me. Yeah, Tara, Tara, Tara. I don't know why they bring old people in a youth program. I'm 57 years of age, and my friend, Dr. Bila, and the wife and the family, they insist that I must come and be with you. It's such an honor for me to be sharing this platform with you, just to share a few words of wisdom with you. I have chosen today to speak on a little subject. The glory of young people is their strength. The glory of young people is their strength. We are going to read from the book Proverbs chapter 20, verse 29. Proverbs chapter 20, verse 29. And we'll also read in the book of Genesis chapter 49, verse 27. And I'm picking up from the New King James Version. Proverbs 20, 29, it reads, "The glory of young men is their strength, and the splendor of old men is their gray hair." The glory of young men is their strength, and the splendor of old men is their gray head. Now, the phrase gray head there, it's really meaning wisdom. It doesn't really mean the actual gray head. Is a figure of speech there to mean that old people depend entirely on their wisdom because they are probably physically weak, they are probably incapacitated, they are probably immobilized, they don't have the energy they used to have. So they display their glory or their splendor through wisdom. Whilst young people who might have not yet gained wisdom, they display their splendor and their brightness through strength, which therefore means that if you are a young person, but you behave in a weak manner, then you are losing your glory. This is a challenge to you as a young person, because if you are young, you must show us that you are young by displaying your energy and your strength. This means that you should wake up earlier than your dad and mom wake up. Why? You have strength. This means you should study the word more than your parents are studying the word of God. Why? You have strength. Why? The glory of young men is shown through their strength. This means that you should be doing the gardening more than old people do their gardening. Why? The glory of young people is their strength. So therefore, show us life. Even in this service, we need to see some energy, some activity, because the glory of young people is their strength. But I want to connect this to the book of Genesis chapter 49, verse 27, before I give you some 3 critical insights or the reasons why you have been given that strength. In the book of Genesis chapter 49, if you start from the beginning, we read a story of Jacob, who when he was very old and he was lying on his deathbed, he collected all his 12 sons and he wanted to bless them. And he gave them a prophetic word. In other words, saying some things that he was wishing for his children. It is very interesting that in his deathbed, he had some words to impart to his children. Now, you better take an old man's words seriously when he's lying in his bed and is about to die. Just like Jesus Christ hanging on the cross, we take his words seriously. So Jacob also was lying on his bed and about to die, and he collected all his 12 sons. He starts with the firstborn. Now, I'm not going to be telling you what he said to the firstborn, the secondborn, the thirdborn, up to the 11th born. But I will tell you what he said to the 12th born. The reason here being, when he was addressing his sons, the first 11 sons were already old and married, and they were also, approaching their last days. But the 12th son was still very young. So I'm picking up Jacob's words directed to the youth, not to the old sons, because they were already elderly people. But there was one of them who was still a youth. Let us hear what an old man who is about to die in a day or two says to the youth. We pick up in verse 27, and I want you to hear very carefully. He says, Benjamin is a ravenous wolf. Picture a wolf. It's almost like a wild dog that is able to kill its prey within a minute. Now he says Benjamin is a ravenous wolf. To be ravenous means to be aggressive, to show strength. And he says, this Benjamin, a ravenous wolf, in the morning he shall devour the prey, and at night he shall divide the spoil. So let's pick up here the phrase, in the morning, devour, in the evening, divide. 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 Now that's a very powerful phrase. In the morning of your life, which means when you are still young, devour. Why? You've got strength. But in the evening or night of your life, which means when you are old, you no longer have strength, but you've got prey in your hand. All you do, divide. This is a critical thing. It's a pity that many young people today, instead of spending the morning of their lives devouring, they are playing. And when the evening of their lives comes, they've got nothing to divide to their children. A good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. But what makes you good is because when you are still young and you've got energy and strength, you use it to devour. So that when you no longer have strength in the evening of your life, you use your wisdom to wisely divide, share, and distribute to your children. Many of you, as you look at me now, you may be one of those like I was when I was a young person. When my parents died, they had nothing to divide to me because they did not devour when they were young, for whatever reasons, whether it's apartheid or segregation or any other reason. You are looking at me right now. Maybe your parents also did not leave you with anything, or they are not leaving you with anything. It's okay. But you shall be different to your children, because you are hearing this word now when you are still in the morning of your life. I want to challenge you that the reason why you have the strength is so that you can devour in the morning of your life. And it is still morning to you. If you are a young person, it is still in the morning. You are still Benjamin right now. You are not yet Joseph. You are still Benjamin. Devour, so that when you are old, you will have something to divide. So let me then share with you 3 insights out of these 2 scriptures. I would like to suggest that there are 3 reasons why you have strength. And by strength here, I wanted to extend it a little bit. It's not just the physical strength that you have, but you now have additional strength, educational strength, technological strength, information strength. The data that your parents gives you, or the money they give you to buy data, you've got data strength. The question is, what do you use your data for? What do you use your physical strength for? What do you use your spiritual energy for? What do you use your educational energy for? There are 3 things that you need to use your strength for as a young person. Number 1, learn. Number 2, earn. Number 3, return. For me, these are the 3 human obligations: learn, earn, and return. Learn, earn, and return. Use your strength to learn, earn, and return. Let's talk about learning a little bit. When you learn, you grow. Remember, you are still young. Remember, it's still in the morning. So you need to use the strength that you have to grow. Use it to grow. Now, you may be saying, wait a minute, do you really need strength to grow? Of course you do. You don't need strength to age. Remember, there's a difference between aging and growing. Aging, it simply means God gives you 1 more day, 1 more month, 1 more year, 1 more decade for you to be alive. That's aging. So you don't need energy to age, because aging is automatic. As long as you still have a day on earth, you are aging. But growing requires strength. Why? For you to grow, you need to work at it. Aging is just addition of days in your life, but growing, it means maturing. I often say that boys are born, but men are made. Boys are born, but men are made, which means that when a boy refuses to be made a man, that boy will remain a boy even at the age of 60, which means he has now become an old boy, but he's still a boy. He has not become a man, because you only become a man by growing. So it is therefore critical for you that whilst you have this strength, use it to learn. Use it to learn. Without learning, we only age. And that is why I would like to challenge you to pay attention to your personal development. Pay attention to your personal development. The strength you have, use it to attend sessions that are organized for personal growth. The strength you have, which includes social strength, which includes data strength. Use your data to search for knowledge wherever it is so that you can grow. You become smarter when you are learned. And of course, I'm not just talking about going to school only, because let's face it, we need to be more creative in this world for us to become successful. Education alone, meaning just getting a degree and a diploma, it's really not enough. You need to be smarter and wiser. You need to be searching even for knowledge that is going to take care of you. You need to learn in areas of character. You need to learn to love. You need to learn to be loved. You need to learn to give. You need to learn to receive. You need to learn to relate to people. The Bible says, my people are destroyed because they lack knowledge. Guess what? You become destroyed in the area where you lack knowledge. So for example, if you are highly knowledgeable about demons, you know how they look like and you know how they cast them out, but you are ignorant when it comes to financial management, guess what? You will be destroyed in the area of finances. You may be knowledgeable in the area of finances, you know how to make the money, but you are totally ignorant in the area of relationships. You can't even say thank you when someone has done well. You are going to be destroyed in the area in which you are ignorant. And in this case, you are ignorant in the area of relationships. You become destroyed in that area. This therefore means that you need to identify what are the critical areas in a person's life where I must not be ignorant, and then go get the necessary knowledge in that area. We then call these life skills. So the learning here, it also means you need to learn life skills. It's possible for you to be highly educated, but you become a social misfit. You don't fit well in society because you are ignorant in that area. You don't have social skills. You don't have relationship skills. So identify, look at the world and say, what makes people successful? What kinds of skills are critical for me as I grow? And you can prioritize them and say, in the next year or two, I want to focus on this skill. In the other year or two, I'm going to focus on the other skill, etc., as you grow, because learning is primarily for growing. So that's the first reason why you have the strength, is so you can learn. The second reason why you have the strength is so you can earn. And gone are the days where people needed to earn only after they've gone to college or university, then they start earning after. Forget it. The world has changed. You can't wait until you're an old man for you to earn. Devour the pre when you are still a Benjamin. Yes, devour. You start earning now. You start earning now. At the age of 9, start earning now. I'm telling you the truth. Start earning now. I repeat, start earning now. Why? It is possible for you to earn right now. You can earn so much money through social media. It is not only the worldly people who must use TikTok and do the dancing and whatever and post on YouTube. No, you can post words of wisdom on YouTube and you gain lots of money because you've got great viewership. The very word of God. It doesn't have to be TD Jakes on YouTube. You can have an app yourself, not TD Jakes on demand. You can have Nolutando, you can have Tsepang, you can have a Tsepang app that says Tibane on demand. Absolutely. King Solomon says, to him who is joined to all the living, there is hope. For a living dog is better than a dead lion. Now you are connected to the living more than Solomon was when he wrote that. Why? Because the world has become a small village and we are so connected. You can earn lots of money. You can start today, for example, and just posting one statement of words of wisdom. You can even do it in a vibrant way. you can rap it, for example. Just rap something so powerful and keep posting it. You'll be amazed how much money you're going to have. Who said you can't write a book? You can write an ebook right now and have it on Amazon. You as a young person. You can tell stories of how to survive in a village, in a squatter camp, and tell the world that if I can survive in a squatter camp, in an informal settlement, or whatever we call them in these bad words that we have allocated to the areas where we live, and you tell them, if I can survive in this space, anybody, anywhere in the world can survive. You can put on YouTube, do it yourself, DIY, do it yourself, whatever it is, do something. You have the energy to earn, the strength to earn. And finally, the last one, the reason why you have the strength is so you can return. Now, returning means that which you have earned, now you can return it. In other words, you can now share it. In other words, you can now become socially responsible. You can plow back to your community. The reason why South Africa now, the poor become poorer and the rich become richer, is because those who have become richer are not plowing back to the poor communities so that the communities can get better. We are depending on you, but I can tell you right now that many can't give because they don't have anything to give. You can't give what you don't have. But the reason why you don't have is because you did not devour when you were still young. So learn whatever skills you need to learn. Even during this lockdown, the reason why we are lockdown simply means that we must take cover so that we are not hurt by the disease. But whilst we are taking cover, we must recover some strength that we have lost. But not only just recover some strength, you must also discover some new ways of doing life and doing business, so that when all this is over, you can take over and thrive in the new normal. So make sure that you are using your strength properly, just for 3 things. And I pray that you'll meditate on these 3 things, where you say, I'm going to use my strength to learn, earn, and return. Learn, earn, and return. If at the end of this lockdown, you have not learned a skill, one skill, and you have not started one little hustle, you didn't lack time. You lacked discipline. It's called freedom in captivity. In other words, captivity can give you freedom to be you, freedom to learn more, freedom to exercise, freedom to learn without being disturbed by lots of things. Captivity can give you freedom, so make use of it. Even when you are still young, it's some form of captivity. Because you don't have lots of money as a person, it's some form of captivity. Let that form of captivity, because you don't have your own car, you don't have lots of money to fly all over, etc., is some form of captivity. It's a form of a lockdown, but use that captivity to have freedom to do stuff that you otherwise wouldn't do if you were all over. So make this thing work for you. May God bless you as a young person, remembering that you will show us your glory by displaying to us, by showing us that you've got strength. And how do you show us that you've got strength? You use it for learning. Let's see you grow wing and you earn so that when the time is right, you will be able to return back. May God bless you, and I wish you well and a beautiful week going ahead. And those of you who are going back to school in different stages, may God protect you. May God keep you. Keep safe, sane, and sound. Thank you so much. God bless you.